Hello, my name is Landon Mason, and this is my manager interview presentation over my conversation with Todd Needy. So a little bit about Todd and the company that he works for. So Todd is the principal owner and manager of Sedalia Rental and Supply. They're a construction rental company. The company has been in business for 30 years. This is the 30th anniversary of their opening this year, and they're located in Sedalia, Missouri. So the first topic that Todd and I were able to discuss was about managing people. So my first question was kind of about what are some of the hurdles that he experienced in managing people. And one thing he stressed was that different personalities required different approaches when going through different situations. So everyone has their own individual personality, and some people are motivated by some things, some people are motivated by others. And as a manager, it's your job to learn what motivates your people and what's important to them. It requires patience and constantly putting yourself in their shoes, understanding their situation, looking at it from their perspective. Being a good listener, he stressed that a lot. A manager is only as good as their ability to listen. And that kind of goes to what it talks about in chapter 15 about listening is the key to understanding. That's certainly a important thing that he stressed. We also talked about some of the qualities that managers like to see in their employees. For him personally, he stated that he likes his people to be self-starters, to have a good attitude, to work well with others, and to have good people skills, which is certainly of use in the rental industry. He also said that times have changed and it's becoming more and more important to invest in your people, and they have their own personalities, bring their own strengths and weaknesses to the table, and it's up to you as a manager to help them bring those strengths out. So my second topic is about being a decision maker. So he, as a small business, they're kind of in a unique situation in regards to the decisions that they have to make. He talked about most of the decisions that they make are based on profitability and also workability. And that's workability with the customers as well as the workers that have to implement the decisions that are made. He talked a lot about how small businesses are the biggest risk takers in the business world, and that taking risks is how you grow. That was kind of based on one of my questions about if he's willing to take risks when making a decision. And he said that he makes sure that he gathers all the necessary information, but at the end of the day, sometimes risks have to be taken. And that's kind of what it talks about in chapter 4 of the textbook, talking about gathering your necessary information before you solve the problem, so that you have a full idea of what the problem is and how to fix it. He also says you have to learn from your mistakes when you make them. Otherwise, you'll have to fall into the same troubles over and over again, and that's a cycle that's not sustainable. He also talked about how important it is to have close partners or mentors that you talk to that are in a similar business. You work together to find out what works and what doesn't work well, and you can also learn from each other's mistakes. So if one store makes a mistake in one area, they can communicate with that, and so their store won't fall into that same kind of situation. So my third topic is strategic planning. So as a small business, they have to budget, and he said budgeting is critical in managing the business and about its success in the long term. They also talked about anticipating the future needs of the company, and that's a key to planning well. So Todd uses a lot of short-range planning along with some long-range planning. They kind of mix a lot of that here and there. That's kind of what it talks about in chapter 5. In terms of the future of the company, he said growth is always good, but it's important to make sure you balance your growth with your profitability. And then in the long run, it's best to focus on making the business better, because when the business is better, the people who are part of it are better. And it allows him to offer his employees more in terms of benefits, in terms of pay, in terms of just making their lives easier. So the fourth topic we talked about was control processes. So he uses a software that tracks all of his revenue along with a lot of the financial aspects of it. He also utilizes monthly financial reports, and he uses them to monitor the success of the business as the year goes on. He also meets with financial advisors and creates a plan for using the money that they make wisely in terms of investment in more equipment or other things, or maybe giving bonuses to their employees. He also talked about how return on investment is critical in the rental industry, and that sometimes it's better to give your customers a more satisfying experience than to always maximize the return on investment. He talked about how oftentimes his return on investment isn't as high as other companies because he tries to get newer equipment and kind of turn over the equipment a little quicker. So he just uses a lot of free forward controls. That's what they talk about in chapter 6. So last topic would be social responsibility and ethics considerations. This was a very important thing to him because as a small business, your reputation is often what makes or breaks you. So I personally have worked for this company for over 3 years now, and I've noticed that my manager Todd has always created a great ethical framework. And ethical framework is what it talks about in chapter 3. And so they try to invest in the community, and whether that's in giving a lot of giving donations to certain school groups that come around, or donating equipment to local businesses that need it, or profit or charities or non-for-profit organizations. He talked about how investing in your community shows your customers that you're more than just another store and gives you a more positive outlook on your company. When they have a positive outlook on your company, they will trust you with more of their business, which will allow you to invest into them. It'll also mean you can invest in your people, which are a part of the community. And he finished it off by saying being ethical in your handling your business is critical because nobody likes dealing with shady stuff in their personal life, and the same is true when they, go to spend their money or other things. And so his quote was just to make sure that you say what you're going to do and do what you say. And that was his takeaway from that. So that's my presentation.